except for one. So we can have people that take our positions when we fade away. So that's all I had to add. We do have a Lake Mendocino Engineer Association scholarship fundraiser that's set for March 20th at Grace Edinson. So be pleased if anybody can come by, and we'll give you some food, and you can bid on some desserts that the engineers construct. That's how we raise all our money. Some of these cakes and pies go for $250 or $300. We won't guarantee the taste, but we will guarantee that the recipe has been followed with the utmost care in the measurements. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Pinches.
Sure.
Please.
We have, starting off, is Ben Kagiyama, Rick Senor. Those two gents work for the City of Ukiah. Phil Dow, Executive Director for MCOG, and Howard DeShield, Director of Transportation for the county.
Thank. Even engineers can smile. Come on.
But it hurts.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We need a motion for that.
Yes. Supervisor Pinches, was that a motion
That
for approval?
was certainly a motion. Yes.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded for approval of item 5A15 off the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Passed unanimously.
Who was the second on the motion? I was.
I believe Supervisor Smith. Okay, moving right along here. Let's see, next timed item is 11 o'clock. To the CEO, do you have any report?
Not at this time.
Okay, and did you have a comment? I'm sorry, I didn't see your pen there.
I'm sorry, there was a consent item number 5 for correction, but that was taken care of.
Okay, all right. We'll show receival of the DOT Director's Report and Department of General Services Director's Report. To the CEO, any action on legislative or fiscal?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. Let's move then to item 6C, discussion possible action regarding request from Mendocino Solid Waste Management Authority from Mendocino County Board of Supervisors to consent to pursue eminent domain in an unincorporated area. To the CEO's office, any discussion?
Nope, this report stands as submitted.
Okay. To Department of Transportation and Solid Waste Division. Do you want to present this item? Have any comments? Okay. To Mr. Sweeney then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Joint Powers Agreement gives the Mendocino Solid Waste Management Authority the power of eminent domain with one condition, that the jurisdiction within which the subject property lies will give its consent for MSWA to exercise that power. That is the reason why we're here today. Another stimulus for this session is the fact that the County of Mendocino is MSWA's landlord for our one piece of property, which is on Plant Road. The County of Mendocino took ownership of it from the City of Ukiah at the time of your animal shelter expansion and made a decision at that time that eventual expansion of the animal shelter would require use of MSWA's half acre, which is immediately behind the animal shelter. We understand that decision. It makes sense for the county in the long run, and in a way it makes sense for MSWA because the site on Plant Road, while we make it work on a day-to-day basis, is not optimal. There are severe access problems, And looking ahead in the long run, it is not really something that we can all say meets the County of Mendocino's needs for a hazardous waste storage site and operations depot for these state-mandated programs. Therefore, we followed your mandate to find a new site and have been working diligently at that for over 6 years now. It's not an easy task because a hazardous waste storage facility is not viewed by neighbors as a particularly desirable use. However, we have located a satisfactory site, and we have sought for 6 years to gain access to it. We have been unsuccessful, which is why the EMSWA board has made the decision to pursue eminent domain, if necessary, to fulfill our responsibilities. I think it's fair to say that the Board of Commissioners of EMSWA, along with all public officials in this county, share an extreme distaste for eminent domain and view it as something which should only be turned to in the most compelling circumstances. And in the memorandum which you have before you, dated February 1st, I attempt to run down what those circumstances are. I will briefly review them. There is a long history of non-use of this property, which is vacant, and there are no known plans for use of it. It was cut off when the freeway came in the 1960s, cut off from a larger agricultural parcel. And it has essentially been an orphan since then. In that 40-year period, as near as we can determine, there has been no commercial or agricultural use of it at all. It is only 2 acres. It has a freeway on-ramp as the southwest boundary. It has a Cal Coast wood preserving, which is a hazardous materials site, as its north neighbor. And most importantly, cat-a-corner across the street, Taylor Drive, is the Ukiah Valley Transfer Station. And that's important because, first of all, it would tend to discourage any other potential user of the site, since many uses do not choose to be near a solid waste disposal site. But on the other side of the coin, it's optimal for us because there is a nexus between self-haul disposal of hazardous waste and self-haul disposal of solid waste. Every day, the attendants at the transfer station have to turn away people who have hazardous waste items which cannot enter the transfer station. They need to tell them that has to go to the Hazmobile. And having the Hazmobile facility where it belongs, right across the street, will be a great eventual benefit to the public and to the transfer station and to ourselves who operate the hazardous disposal operation. So all these things, in my mind and in the minds of our Board of Commissioners, constitute the sufficient compelling circumstances. Therefore, we are here today seeking your consent pursuant to the JPA agreement for us to pursue eminent domain. The eminent domain, if it goes ahead, would be conducted entirely by EMSWA. It would not involve the County of Mendocino in any fiscal or legal way. And of course, we hope that as this proceeds, we can get the attention of the property owners, who are a diverse group, and bring them to the table, and hopefully ultimate exercise of this authority will not be necessary. But we need your go-ahead in order to go down this road and do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. To the board, concerns, comments, discussion. Supervisor Pinches.
As you well know, I attended my first MSWA meeting last week, and I kind of want to get the opinion of the board on this issue. But my question is, if the transfer station is county-owned or privately owned, they're not allowed to take the hazardous materials, right?
With some exceptions. There are some universal waste items like car batteries,
Yeah.
but the great bulk of household hazardous waste and small business hazardous waste cannot be accepted at the transfer station.
Yeah. And so that would